Welcome to the Grzly Den. To a very special episode, our fourth episode, but nonetheless, we have Anna on today. She is actually Matt's girlfriend, but she does something. It's the dating episode.
No, it's not.
She actually does something that's really cool. I don't know a whole lot. Matt filled me in a little bit on what she does, but you work in a nonprofit, or you run a nonprofit or something like that. You do skateboarding.
Yeah.
You teach local kids. You put on workshops, teach them how to skateboard. Maybe you just want to fill us in a little bit more on what exactly that is.
Yeah. So I started a thing called the Kelowna Skateboard Association in like November of 2017, and it was kind of like it came out of this idea of like, why don't we have a permanent like indoor skate park in Kelowna? And I lived previously for a year in Australia, and in like a really similar climate where I was, and I just thought I was like, why don't we have something here that's indoor and like will stay open during the winter and summer? Because like usually there's been like a couple indoor parks that have like popped up here and there like over the years, but they just can't make it like financially during the summer months for like their rent. But yeah, so anyways, when I moved back home to Kelowna, I was really just like, oh, this sucks. Like, we don't have a place to come, like, in the winter or in the summertime, like, when it's blazing hot out, because, like, you can get heat stroke really easily.
That is very true.
So, yeah, that was kind of, like, birthed out of that. And then, so I wanted everything to be, like, official and legal and not just, like, some, like, raggedy like punk thing.
Backyard.
Yeah. So I made us like a legal non-profit, so it's like association with the BC government in November of 2017, and then
That's awesome.
Yeah, so from there I've just kind of like slowly but surely like started doing stuff with it.
So you have like an actual indoor skate park here?
No, I wish.
Oh,
Well, I do work at a place called Air House, and they're
okay,
a freestyle training facility, but they only have a mini ramp, and that's it. And they want to like expand into their back lot with like more features and stuff, like more like skate or like more like street skateboarding features, like rails and boxes. So
is 97 North still around?
No, so that was the park that like when I left university in 2013. And then I moved home, and that was the park that I skated like during the winter, and really just kind of like got back into skateboarding. And yeah, and then they closed down like after like they couldn't make it a full year because they couldn't keep like financially pay their rent, and also like they just didn't have enough people coming in.
So she has a lot of cool places around Kelowna. It seems to be they always can't pay rent.
Yeah.
That happened with
Yeah,
what
it's
was
sort
that
of
place called that we used to go to on the corner, 97 and Cooper there? The computers in it.
Oh,
Oh,
PC,
PC
Bang.
Yes.
The classic, yeah. I mean,
What place closed down because they couldn't pay their rent either.
Yeah.
It's a weird trend.
Yeah, we were friends with somebody whose parents rented off the guy who owned that place. Remember? Brown?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Wait, what's
That's how we
PC
found
Bang
that
though?
out.
It's like an internet cafe.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
and then what they did differently is you could have a monthly subscription, or you could drop in for like a couple of hours, pay $2-3, and play as many games as you want. And so it was like it was kind of like a gym membership where you pay
For nerds.
But and then you just pay like $60 and then a month, and that would accumulate to a time amount. And so you can go in there for an hour, 2 hours, or for some odd reason they let you stay in there for all night, which a couple of
24 hours.
Oh, really?
Wow. Which a
That's
friend
kinda
and I
crazy.
did. And
Kids gotta play their WoW.
yeah, I mean, I played all the games that my parents didn't let me play.
Of course.
It was also the first time I had Red Bull, so that was really
Oh yeah.
sentimental
That was a fun
moment.
time.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
So you've been running your foundation for just about 2 years now. So
Yeah.
November 2017.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So like, where do you do your workshops and stuff like that?
Well, we haven't done one yet. We're doing our first one at Bentley. It's a skate clinic for beginners. So we've got it's just an evening, just 2 hours on a Friday evening, where people can come and just learn like basic, like how to ollie, how to kickflip, how to like do like stuff like that, how to drop in the bowl, and
That's awesome.
yeah. So like one of our, like, we have a website and stuff like that, and like our mission statement is to like just promote the sport of skateboarding, and to like create a really welcoming environment and connect the skate community within Kelowna, because it's like we have really, really great skateboarders and stuff like that, but what I've noticed over the years is like we're not super, like it's pretty cliquey, which is like that's kind of just Kelowna is pretty cliquey in general.
Sorry, Matt. I'm gonna
and
cozy.
yeah.
You got as close as
This is a
allowed.
terrible
Not the
couch.
beers.
None of you think other place.
Are you guys sponsored by?
I wish.
We're sponsored by like
Yeah.
a couple
All
beers.
day.
Yeah, why? Like, you still not bringing free
I-
beer here? What
No,
the
I
Sponsored by
know.
3
Next
beers.
time, you know, I'll
Rickard's,
talk to
Caribou.
Caribou.
Concord.
Where's
Wait,
the Dr.
Ashford?
Pepper?
No.
Dr. Pepper
Come
too.
on.
They're the only non-alcohol.
This mine?
It's your Dr. Pepper, man.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What
I'm
was
gonna
I?
do this
What
episode.
was I saying? Yeah. So we're doing a skate clinic. It will be like kind of like our first event, and because last summer, so like I like did all the legal stuff, put up a website, put up an Instagram, made us a Twitter, did a Facebook page, and then I like got so like I was working like 3 or 4 jobs at the time, just to like I was hustling really hard, and like I got
Well,
so
hustle,
like
just-
burnt out.
Eat that wheat.
Yeah. And then yes, well, for the summer of 2018, didn't really do anything with the association, and then this past like spring, I was like, okay, like I have finally like had the time and energy to really make this thing successful and really grow it and connect all the skateboarders in Kelowna. So I kind of just started like I would go out skating and then like see somebody like doing a trick really, really well and like nailing a line, and then I'd be like, hey, like, do you mind if I like film you doing this line? And of course, like anyone is like super flattered, or everyone wants to be filmed and stuff, and so it's super easy. So yeah, it was great. So I just kind of like started doing that, and then like because we started I think with only like 39 followers on Instagram, and then like I kind of started doing that in like beginning of June, and by the end of June I was like, oh, I'd like to have like 100 followers, and it was like the second week in June, and we had 100 followers. I was like, oh, that's great. So it's just like growing, like I love growing things and seeing things just progress and be successful, and we're purely volunteer, so like any like fees that we have to pay, like legal document stuff, like filing our like annual like our AGMs, like I just like pay out of my pocket kind of thing, because I want it to be just, it's a community organization, and I want it to be free, and I want it to be accessible to everyone. So yeah.
That's really cool.
Mm-hmm.
Just small, really grassroots.
Yeah, super grassroots.
That's really cool. Yeah, no, I wish something like that was around when I was a kid, because
Yeah, same.
you know, I like a lot of other kids, they at least go through their skateboarding phase if they don't continue it.
Yeah.
You know, I got to a point when I just got kind of frustrated with it.
Yeah.
You know, like, you know, certain kids pick it up really quickly.
And like
I
stick
didn't.
with it.
I got frustrated and left, but like,
Yeah.
you know, that was also at a time too when like YouTube wasn't too popular.
Right.
So you could find a few good tutorials on like how to ollie, how to kickflip.
Yeah.
Even then, there wasn't a lot. There wasn't as much as there is now.
It's not the same as like an in-person, like someone be
That
like,
too,
hey,
yeah.
like I see
For
you're
sure.
like struggling with that, or like, hey, can like I help you or show you, give you some tips on like
Easy
how to
that.
like ollie better or
Slow
kickflip
down.
better or whatever. And I just like, but it's so funny because I just think like the public's perception of like skateboarders is so harsh, because they just like see like they hear like you like ripping down the street and they're like, oh, like here comes
What
a
do we
vandal
do?
or here comes a punk or like, you know, and it's like I want another reason why I started is like I want to take that stigma away from like people's like perception of who skateboarders are and just make it like no, like I've actually met the nicest people through skateboarding and been given like boards and like trucks and wheels and different things like to piece together decks or like piece together completes and stuff, and I've been like taught how to do like really complex tricks and just all at the skate park. And yeah, it's a very like once you kind of like get into this community, it's such a welcoming and open community, and there's a lot of people within the skateboard community who are trying to do a lot of good, and yeah, so I wanted to be a part of that, I guess.
I know.
Yeah.
Very cool.
I feel like I've seen the demographic get a lot younger too nowadays. Like there's a lot more younger kids skateboarding around than older people.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I feel like just in the last 5 to 10 years, you had a couple kids that went pro at 16, 17, 18. But now it's like it's kind of normal.
Yeah.
There's a handful. I mean, I don't follow skateboarding.
Yeah. And
Super
how many kids
closely,
got
but
into
I know there's
skateboarding because of branding and shit too, right?
Oh yeah, like
Oh yeah.
Oh, I love.
I think half
I
of
love
Element
Circa,
and
or
stuff,
like
right?
I
Like-
love S, or like
I guess I
love
should. I guess I might as well try skateboarding.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What? Yeah, I got into skateboarding because there was like 3 or 4 like guys in my neighborhood who skateboarded, and my oldest brother had a skateboard, and I just thought it was the coolest thing, and I would like listen for their boards like on the road, like ripping down our street, and then would like peek out the window, go downstairs, grab my brother's board, and like go outside and join them. And they was probably like 3 or 4 years younger than all of them, and they were like super. At first, like they were like, "Who is this girl? Like, why is she like following us?" kind of thing. But then, like once they like realized that I wasn't going away, they kind of welcomed me in and were like, "Okay, like we'll teach you things, and you can like be a part of our crew and stuff." And
Skate crew.
yeah, that was really fun.
Isn't that what like most of skate was about? You
Yeah.
make like a
Skate 3 was a lot about
brand.
yeah.
There we go.
Yeah, you
brand.
create your skate company.
Yeah.
You gotta sell
Oh,
decks
that'd be kinda
when you
cool.
get to each milestone.
And then as like
Yeah.
the story
Yeah.
progresses, you sell more boards, the more like perks you get for a skate
Basically,
team.
like capitalism, like
Exactly.
how to run a business.
Straight
But
up.
within a game, and
That's
it's
kinda
funny.
Half capitalism.
Yeah.
Oh, don't.
Half
Skate
cap.
fun.
Dollar bills, y'all.
That was a terrible pun.
But it's okay.
So you said that you skateboarded for a bit, but
Oh, briefly.
yeah,
Yeah.
how old were you when you started?
I think I started when I was about 13, and I only skated until I was maybe 16, 15 or 16.
So like a couple years.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you stopped because you just couldn't get it, or like it was too
Yeah, like
frustrating?
I could ollie, and that's
Yeah.
about it.
That's more than most people
Yeah.
can do.
Yeah.
That's
That
what I
was,
tell
like,
people when they
It
can.
was fun, but like I was just like I wasn't even that great at riding. Like I pushed Mongo,
Oh,
and, like I couldn't
no.
get down with riding any other way. So I'm like, oh man,
That's how you
I either
guys
gotta figure out how to
downhill.
push a different way,
Yeah.
Yeah.
or I'm done with this because
Yeah.
I'm not pushing Mongo anymore.
Yeah. I'm not getting like harassed by
Yeah.
It's the
everyone.
worst.
Yeah.
It's the worst when you like see someone pushing Mongo and you like try to teach them not to push Mongo, and then they're so like set on it, and it's just like, but
I wonder like why like that is in terms of like why people start pushing Mongo, like
Your right foot is more
It's just-
stable.
Yeah.
Better
or like,
more
but it's
comfortable.
like
foot, maybe.
I don't know. I think they're just they're taught in the first place to stand on the board wrong, like
Yeah.
with
It's an
their
old
like
school
back
way
foot
of doing
on.
it.
Nobody
too,
told
isn't
me
it?
to wait.
Wait, hold up.
Put this
Wait
foot
a
there.
minute.
Like, yeah.
you're
Yeah.
doing it wrong.
So-
But it's okay.
Brayden,
'cause
did you
it's-
ever skateboard?
same as Christian, like
Yeah.
for like a couple summers, and then I took the trucks off and started putting it on the trampoline.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So I would
that's
jump on the
big.
trampoline, do like late kickflips and stuff.
Oh,
So
Oh, that's cool.
yeah, so I felt, it's
Yeah,
not real
accomplished.
skateboarding,
Yeah.
but
But,
when
like,
you can
you
throw
feel
like
It's
like
fun.
awesome.
Tramp
you
skating
can do
fun.
like a pop
Yeah.
shove it, and the board spins like 9 times.
Yeah.
So then you feel super
You should come to
cool.
Air House because we have
Yeah.
like workshops, tramp skate workshops that I like
Yeah.
teach.
Yeah, that'd be
That
cool.
sounds like a
Yeah.
lot of fun.
Oh, it's heaps fun. Yeah.
But like, I'm not dropping in or anything because
No.
I probably fall through the floor.
I mean, like
Yeah.
the mini ramp at Air House actually isn't that hard to learn on. Like once you get like
It's only 4 foot.
yeah,
Oh, nice.
and then there's like a 2-foot drop and
No, it's 3.
Is it 3?
Yeah.
Okay.
I dropped in at City Park, which was pretty fun.
The pyramid.
No, not even like the little.
What, just
the
the
Oh,
corner
that
part.
like big.
Yeah, the drop-in part.
Oh, okay, yeah.
I dropped
Yeah.
in once and I ate shit.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
fell
I
back.
fell flat on
But
my
you know,
ass.
the
Oh.
more
When I
you
got it the
fall-
second time, you get
Never
it's
did
so
it.
unnatural to lean forward as you're
Mhm.
dropping
Yeah.
in.
You
Yeah.
have to lean and really bend your knees. Like,
Yeah.
can't
Yeah.
stress enough when I'm teaching like little kids how to drop in for the first time, or like I don't even like you don't start at the top. You like learn how to like pump back and forth,
Yeah.
and then.
Right.
But it's like I'm always being like bend your knees, bend your knees,
Yeah.
like
They're explaining how like weight transfer is going to
Yeah.
work when you hit the bottom.
yeah.
And it's
And
like
then-
a picture you're trying to pivot perfectly in that corner, so to
Right.
speak. Like you want to keep your weight
Yeah.
Weight
directly over the board.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's what I failed to do the first time.
Yeah. Oh
And
no,
then-
everyone slips out on their first time.
Oh,
Yeah, it's so
yeah.
scary.
I'm
Like
sure I
you're
fired it
just
over
like,
the fence. It's like, oh
Yeah.
no! Went into
As
the
a
water
car
park
goes-
and everything.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
Do you remember when the Ogopogo was there?
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
rest
Do you know
in
why they took that out? Like
These
why they
kids
took it
can-
off?
peace.
No.
Safety
Kids kept fucking
reasons.
themselves up on it, falling off.
Yeah, falling
Oh, yeah,
off.
no,
It
that
was a
one, yeah.
safety hazard, just like everything else. But
Mm.
people are just getting too soft nowadays.
I can't
That
get hurt
Ogopogo
on
was
this
so much fun.
fixture.
Yeah.
Oh no.
It was a rite of passage to fall and eat shit.
Mm.
Off of
It
that.
was. I
As
mean,
a kid growing up in Kelowna, come on.
Yeah.
Come on.
Like, you have to climb up that thing and fall off just once.
I mean, I never fell off of it.
Yeah, I never
always
fell off.
climbed
Just-
up.
I don't know.
Just
Maybe
like-
that's just your
Kids
rite of
casting
passage.
themselves from the top of the Ogopogo, just like
Just slamming
No,
on
I
their
want to
back.
throw up now.
I know I climbed up it, but I never fell off of it, so that I don't know if I have the rite of passage anymore.
Well, my point is now all these kids are obviously
Missing
falling
it.
off of it.
I mean,
And
there's
they should
that.
take that as a learning experience.
There's that.
It's also kind of ugly as shit too. Like it's
Yeah, it was
It's
pretty
hideous.
obvious.
It was, but I mean that.
The Ogopogo is ugly.
yeah, but it's
Yeah,
literally
it's a
sea
mythical
monster.
covered.
It's a sea
Monsters
monster.
are
Covered with a
Monsters are.
fishing net.
They're
Poor
not
guy.
Yeah,
cute.
because it's like trying to capture.
Yeah, poor guy.
It's a theory. It's
trying to like save the
I
whales
never
and shit
thought
now.
about that before.
but
Save the
yeah,
whales.
there's a net over.
Save the walruses.
Save the pogos.
but I mean,
All of them.
Save the sea
Yes.
monster.
Loch Ness.
there's still that Ogopogo like across the street from Earl's, so
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
they
Yeah.
can
Climb on that
climb
one,
off
fall
on
off.
that, but
Yeah.
it's not as high and it's not as cool.
It's not as
There's
and
not-
like
I
and
heard they were
people.
removing that too.
What?
Yeah.
I'm
Oh,
bored.
I can't even. What are we trying to
They're either
rebrand?
moving it or removing it.
They're not gonna move it anywhere else. They're gonna
It's like-
take it out
It's
and
like
then.
any other ugly BC city decoration.
It's like every like
It's cool
this
though.
is like a Canadian thing. Every like small town, like I mean we're a medium city, so like
Yeah.
but every like town or city in Canada has some weird like
Giant thing.
giant
Yeah.
Yeah.
mascot or giant like peach or apple or like the
We have
Wooden
Yeah.
Ogopogo.
man. Like
I don't know,
Prince
for-
George's giant dude that stands there with an axe.
Mm,
It's fucking
yeah,
terrifying.
I've seen it. Are you from Prince George?
No, my dad is.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
PI. Well, no, Prince George. I was thinking
PG.
PI. Prince
Yeah.
Edward Island.
PG.
Atlantic,
You're close.
Canada.
PG.
We're just
Wonderful
tacky
place.
in Canada.
Tacky? What?
We just
No,
put up
we're
weird
just
giant
not.
things everywhere.
I don't think it's. I think it's
And then for Kelowna, we just take it
endearing.
down. Yeah. I
We have a
mean,
bridge. We're literally the only BC city that has a giant bridge in it.
because we have an awesome giant
Exactly.
lake.
That's why
Is
we're
that-
the LA of
What?
Canada.
Is that anchor still there on the side of
Yeah.
97?
Yeah.
I haven't been there.
Oh wait,
I'm
is
there.
it? This is a good question
I
actually.
don't think that was an anchor. I think that was.
No,
like
remember
No.
that thing? It was next to that like law building or something.
Yeah.
Just when you come over the bridge
Yeah.
on the left.
On the west side or on our side?
On our side.
On our
we were
side.
driving into Kelowna. It was on the left, and it was that giant concrete structure with the two.
Oh,
The
right.
gates on either side.
Yeah.
That was one of the anchors.
The original
They
build.
sunk the.
Wasn't
Do you guys remember the floating bridge though?
Oh, yeah.
And,
Yeah.
like having the thing?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I think
So cool.
I think we got stuck on like the like moving platform once.
Oh.
That was pretty fun. And then
It was all the way up, like, oh.
They were talking about, the city was talking about how, like, when they were building the Bennett Bridge, they were talking about keeping the floating part and doing, like, a market, kind of like how in Vancouver they have, like, Granville Island.
Oh, yeah,
that's so cool.
They were going to do that, but I don't know what happened.
well,
They probably, like, couldn't, A, get funding, or B,
Yeah.
like...
If it's Kelowna, it's probably financial.
Yes.
Someone's not getting paid.
Yeah,
it's not gonna
someone's
happen.
not...
I think it was also
Yeah.
more so because
Like,
the
I
engineering?
hate to say
the
that.
bridge, like the current bridge, is like right beside where the old bridge was. So
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
merging lanes into it would have been a challenge. But I mean, this is the first I've heard of the market. So
Yeah.
I remember like
that would've
driving
been
beside
really
it
cool.
as it was getting built. That was cool.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was neat.
I think I was probably actually the first person to skateboard across that bridge.
Oh,
Because I was there when they opened it,
Mhm.
and they had the whole giant thing when everybody walked across.
Yeah, I walked across it.
and
got
I was
it going.
skateboarding across it.
Wow.
I was there like
That's
right at the
actually
beginning of
cool.
the pack when they
Yeah.
opened it up, and I was skateboarding across, and I'm looking around.
Is there
And
any
it's like,
photos
No,
of that?
later.
Maybe
was
in
that?
the. Is there any photos of this? Like maybe,
Maybe
in, like
somewhere.
the Kelowna Cap News archives.
Maybe somewhere.
Ooh.
I used to work at the Cap News.
I gotta
Very
try
nice.
it. Maybe somewhere. But I was
Social
looking around, I
media.
was like, there's nobody else skateboarding here.
Wait, you used to work at Capital News?
I worked for Black Press Media, so
Nice.
they own Kelowna Capital News and a ton of papers in BC, Alberta, and some in the States.
So you worked
Awesome.
at that office though on
Mhm.
Enterprise?
Yep,
You know Kevin Parnell?
I did. He was the editor when I started there.
That's my
How
uncle.
do you know Kevin?
That's
Oh,
my
it's
uncle.
your uncle.
Yeah.
Oh, there you go. I saw him actually the other day downtown when I was walking, and we just smiled at each other. It was really nice. It was a nice moment. Of
You guys
like,
have a
recognizing
small
and be
world.
like, oh, hey.
Look at that.
Yeah.
Hello, old coworker.
Yeah, that was like a neat job because, so I left university in 2013. I'd done a kinesiology degree.
Mhm.
Well, I didn't finish it. I left in my third year because I was like, I don't want to do
This
this.
is too much.
Yeah, this is too much. I don't want to do research or do like PT or OT. And so moved back home and then took a bit of time off and then lived in Australia for a bit and traveled a lot and then came back and yeah, I was looking for a job and then one of my friends was like, hey, do you want a job? I've got one. I was like, what are you talking about? And so she had was offered this like social media job with Black Press, but it was only on the weekends, and so she was like, I don't want it because she's got a journalism background, and I was like, well, I'll take it, like I'll like give me the info, and so I emailed them, and I had an interview, and they hired me, and so I started that in January 2017, and was there for about almost 2 years, like a year and a half, and yeah, it was great. It was something that was really just kind of clicked. Like, I like worked in healthcare and like was a caregiver at a group home, and that was really rewarding, but like super draining. And it just like I didn't want to do that for the rest of my life, and
Oh, yeah.
I wanted to do something more creative. So I was like looking at going back to school for like design or like fashion marketing, and then got this opportunity. And yeah, I just learned a lot, and like near the end of my time I worked as a production assistant and a contributing photographer for one of the magazines that Black Press owned, and so that was like just amazing. Like I loved doing that, but at the end of the day it just wasn't enough work, and like we would only shoot that magazine like it was like every 2 months, only for like 3 or 2 days we would shoot. And so it was just not steady at all. Like, it just wasn't enough. It was steady, just not enough. And, like, it was really great experience, and I learned heaps. But it just, yeah, at the end of the day, I was like, I can't. Like, this is not enough work and not enough money for what I'm doing. So, Yeah, but I had a really good experience, and it kind of like put me on this path with like pursuing photography as an actual career and doing media and like especially social media too.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah, which is super important for like running any business nowadays.
Oh yeah, it's huge.
Yeah.
It's free
Have that
marketing.
presence.
It's
Yeah.
yeah.
It's a lot better when you can do it yourself and not have to
Right.
outsource with.
Not have to pay someone to do
Oh
it.
yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Which is always a great talent to have.
Yeah.
Then
And there's so
Would you
much.
like another beer, Matt?
getting edgy, sure.
Getting edge. Oh, 2 beers. Oh, shit.
Ooh. I'm gonna check the camera.
So it sounds like that ultimately set you up to be able to cover. We're still
Got a bottle opener on that?
we're still recording.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
that's actually I'm gonna wait till Matt sits
Forget where I
back
put
down
my.
again, just so we can get this
I'm gonna
cut
do
Oh nice.
flawless.
There we go.
We're gonna have to watch ourselves, but
Too bad we don't have the green screen back here.
Right?
yeah, we
Yeah,
actually
we
talked
talked
about.
about
Like,
it. Yeah.
oh really? It's
Yeah.
annoying, but it's kind of cool. You can't wear green, or else you like.
Oh,
Yeah.
so
I mean, okay,
you
so-
I did that
Yeah.
one
So-
time at work. Like we would film a community calendar
Yeah.
every week for like the events that were happening throughout the valley, and
I
I
am
wore-
the event.
I wore a green sweater, and then one of my editors was like, do you have a different color shirt? You're green on green. You're gonna be a floating head, and I was like, damn it, like,
But I want to be a fan.
yeah. So
on, Matt, you
I
can
don't.
do it.
Nice. There you go.
Yo.
Don't worry. I'd wear like my editor's like blazer or something, and luckily I had like a black tank top underneath my sweater. But I was like, oh, I hate this. Like I felt like Kermit the Frog when I was like, it was just such like a painter's tape green.
Yeah. I mean,
But yeah.
technically.
with the wither.
Yeah. This is what's happening in the Okanagan Valley.
We want to put
sunny,
green on like our
rainy,
table
humid,
and our
humid.
desk.
And just have it
The
float.
wall.
The floating. And
Yeah,
then
just
you
put
would
green
all
everywhere.
wear green.
Yeah.
And except
Just
Our
have a
heads.
green screen.
Welcome to the Floating Head Podcast.
Ooh.
Just get green morph suits, but we'll cut off the head.
Oh, and then whenever the guests come on, they don't have the green suit, so it's just
So
Oh,
just
they-
two,
So
three
they're just
floating
there.
heads
That's
and
pretty fun.
like
And like Keanu Reeves. He's
Yeah.
just sitting there.
You'll be like, give it to our next guest, like, hey, Keanu Reeves wrote this. Enjoy it.
Oh, Keanu's also in a morph suit.
Well, because he comes on the show.
I think we can
Like,
like
yeah.
track different like characters onto each person
we
in a
can
morph suit.
Ooh.
eventually get into like 3D motion graphics and just have a
Yeah.
fun 3D.
So I
Figure
can
it out.
John
Let's do
Wick.
it.
yes.
Or
That'll
like
be
John Wick
Neo.
versus Neo.
That'll be quite the episode,
Wow.
actually.
Neo would just block all the bullets.
I haven't seen any of those John Wick movies.
No?
What are they about?
Oh,
Like, what's
they're
the
so good.
premise?
Well, I've only seen the first one. But
Yeah, I mean, okay, so
Just like just shoot 'em up movies like
yeah.
assassin
Oh, okay,
movies.
so originally, in the first one, some home invasion happens, and then the burglars end up.
Continue. Sorry.
This is gonna be butchering.
Theon Greyjoy breaks into
Yeah.
John Wick's house.
Yeah, and then they end up killing his dog, and he had this like strong connection with his dog.
so fucking hilarious.
Yeah, and so
You killed my dog.
People
I love those memes. I love the memes.
they're
Yeah, I've
hilarious.
seen the memes and
Oh.
not understood them.
Yeah,
I've
and
seen
so-
them.
funny.
And so after like the burglars report to their boss, and they're like, yeah, we didn't like end up killing Keanu or John Wick, but we killed his dog. And then the boss is like, you did what?
Oh,
And
yeah,
then
you
they're
fucked
like,
up his dog. All 4 of you. That's
Yeah.
great.
yeah. And then his boss is like, you made a great mistake. And they're like, what did we do? We just killed his dog. And he's like, oh, you don't understand. And then it just like escalates into this like super high-end action.
Air House. So,
Yeah.
you want to
And
tell us a little bit
special.
more about that? Like, where
Yeah.
is that?
What
That's
it
not the
is,
one.
or-
In, sorry.
What were you gonna say?
That's not the one at Armstrong, is it?
No. So actually, but that's a neat thing. Like, I had a meeting with the city early 2018 with Sport Kelowna, and anyways, my whole like gripe was I basically wanted the vision was like the long-term goal was City of Kelowna build this like indoor skate facility for like BMX skateboarders, scooters.
Scooter kids.
Yo, shout out Havoc Team.
I like the way you said that.
Scooter kids.
And can you swear on this?
Yes.
Fuck
Okay.
yeah.
And I just had a random.
Don't fucking swear.
Okay.
Not here.
Anyway,
policy.
so yeah, no, my
Ruined.
whole
Podcast
thing
is ruined.
was like I want the City of Kelowna to like work with them and build an indoor facility for freestyle sports like BMX, skateboarding, scooters, and rollerblading, fruit booters, and so then. It was sweet though because my whole thing was like, hey, like how can the tiny town of Armstrong have an indoor skate park and Kelowna City like does not? Like
Makes
what's
no
the
sense.
deal? And they told me they're like, well, because they already have a facility that like can support that, whereas we don't, and the city's not gonna just like up and build some like facility that's not gonna draw in money or like
And it's
like
a niche market.
yeah, it is a niche market. Like I guess freestyle sports, like extreme sports is a niche.
I mean, for Kelowna wise, I mean, there's only like a handful of people in Kelowna that would actually support it, opposed to. Like,
but it sucks because like that's the other thing. We have so many talented skateboarders in Kelowna, but they have to move to Vancouver or down anywhere in the States to like any major city to like progress their skateboarding. Where is like I just wish we could be able to like foster our talent here and then like put Kelowna on the map for like amazing skateboarders. So.
Yeah, because it was only like what, a month or two ago when skating actually became legal here.
Right, yeah, I saw that.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Last
now.
night or something.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
Kelowna's always had a very.
I mean, it was one of those things that the cops didn't really care about.
Enforces
Like,
them
they-
by law.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
you can now legally skate on Bernard, which I mean I've been doing that for years.
Yeah,
And
me
every
too.
time I would jump on the street and start skating and pass a cop, I would always wait to get pulled over, and because I have a experience with that in LA, but now that
Well, that's LAPD though.
yeah, and I mean
You
they
gotta
were.
watch yourself.
They also thought I was a punk, and I mean that's a whole story in itself. But yeah, I mean it's cool that it's now known, but now they're also making it illegal to skate on the sidewalk and
Right, so they want you to skate in the bike lane or like on the street.
just on the street.
They're just trying
So
to like
stupid.
they want to
Yeah,
eliminate skateboarders. Yeah, so they're like
Just
wanna
in the
kill off
middle,
all the
just in the
skaters.
middle,
Stick 'em where
like
the cars
City
go.
Park,
Yeah.
where
Fuck.
cars are coming
Yeah.
towards
So
you.
stupid.
I have a rule with Matthew, like when
Stay on
we
the
go
sidewalks, kids.
Yeah.
Stay safe.
Yeah. So what was it? 3 weeks ago?
Yeah, we were skateboarding like around July, like what Canada Day or something, or just
Yeah.
before, and Matthew had been like he would always skate in the middle of the street, not in the middle, but on the street, and like
On the street,
on
yeah.
Bernard, but like right downtown was like super busy, and there's a bunch
We're
of cars.
we're parlor ice cream.
That's a daredevil.
It's just so like bad. Anyway, so then I got mad at him and was like, you can't, if we skate together downtown, I was like, well, you can't skate in the middle of the street. I'm gonna break up with you.
The break up and hit me.
Oh shit.
She looked at me and that was the
Look how
first
serious I was.
But no, it's
Because
true.
it's so
I mean, it
dangerous. I,
makes
don't want
sense,
you to
though.
get hit by a car, and
You
it's
seen
just,
how people
it's
drive here?
stupid.
No,
Yeah.
no, it's okay.
So
to be fair,
last night we went downtown skateboarding, and like we were coming
Now
down.
this is a dating show.
Yeah, no, we were coming down like the parkade or wherever we parked, and then
she
I like
stopped.
remembered, and I was like, Matt, come here, and then I was like, remember, you can't skate in the middle of the road or on the street when
and
you
there
skate
she-
with me.
So,
Like
so,
you can do, like I don't care, like you're your own person, do your own thing. But like when we skate together and we're downtown, like you cannot, like I won't allow
No,
it. I'm gonna
fair.
like.
You do
Oh,
you,
no.
but realize if you do you, I may break up with you.
I mean, it's fair. I mean,
I know
I
it's
mean,
more out of like it's more out of love because I don't
Yeah.
want you to get
Oh.
hit or like hurt.
Yeah.
Because
No,
you
it's
did slip out and
No, it's true.
like caused like a ruckus.
no, yeah, we're
Birds
I love your
swim on your
corners.
brakes. Yeah.
it wasn't.
We know someone who got hit on Bernard, don't we?
No, yeah, it was on the corner of.
Really
It's great.
Okay, so I'll give backstory to that. It was the corner of Bernard. No, where Kelly's is, and so I was like, hey,
Yeah.
I bet you.
Oh, you wanted to like acid drop off of something.
Caveman
or, like,
drop
crane
off
mount,
off that little like curved bench. I was like, hey, watch what I can do, and it was.
We were just showing off. which
Yeah.
is
Oh no,
fine,
I was
but-
totally showing off. And so I did it. I landed it, and then I got cocky about it, and then I jumped on my board and started skating off. Slipped
Yeah.
as a car is coming towards me, and then I was like, and then of course I scraped.
Oh,
my
it was
hand.
Go Skate Day. That's what it was. Yeah.
Was it Go Skate?
Yeah, it was.
Oh,
No,
that's right.
because we had started at City Park, and then
City Park,
we're
and
going
then we were
to
going
Stewart Park.
and
Yeah.
then I was like, hey, look what I can
Yeah.
do. And then she's like, no, you can't do that. I was like, watch me. And then I did it, and then I slipped, and then that was when, like, the rules came in.
That was
Well,
Blue Collar
yeah.
Ruckus.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean,
I was just shaking my head, and I'm like,
Oh,
why
it's-
am I dating this guy?
Oh.
it's a real brutal. And then yesterday we were skating, and like I thought about it too, where I was like, I'm not gonna skate in the middle of the street, and then
I just like gently
then-
reminded
and
you.
then we were skating. She slows down, and then she looks at me and she's like, I want you
remember
to
the
know.
rules.
Yeah. So I mean, it's probably good that I can't do that with her.
I'm just trying to keep you alive.
That's
That's
true.
all.
And I thank her for that every day. And how-
You set up a non-profit just to do that.
I
To
mean,
keep Matt alive.
Yeah, GoFundMe.
Keep Matt
Like
on
go-
the street.
Keep Matt alive.
Well, his
Foundation.
tire blew this morning. Did you guys hear about that?
Oh.
On his car?
Of what?
His tires are so bald.
that's
Like,
true.
Oh, I bet.
yeah.
Oh, do you want to see a picture? I can pull up a picture on the screen.
Like one of them exploded. Like,
Oh,
Yeah.
well, okay.
Oh, yeah,
Okay,
that's
so
just-
when people
Well, I
are like,
wasn't there. I just heard about it.
no, I texted her and I was like, hey, and
hey, my tire exploded.
so that was
Dude, those are like drag slicks.
I
What are
know.
you doing?
I was driving.
Bro.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Dude, look at this motherfucker's tires.
No,
Yeah, see?
Matt. No.
That's not okay.
No, that's
No, it isn't. And I
No.
was driving
No, it
this
isn't.
morning.
You've only had this car with
Oh,
those tires for
no.
a year.
A year, but the car is
Wait.
like 2015.
Was it previously owned with the
Oh,
same
yeah.
tires? With
Yeah.
the same set? Okay,
That's
so
what
they're
it was
already
showing.
running.
So the previous
Are you-
owner never changed the
Are you
tires.
That's what
trying
I'm also
to kill
assuming.
yourself? Do you
Yeah,
get in the
that's
car
like-
with him?
What do you
Yeah.
do?
Yeah, I do
when it
because he
rains?
You
is a
shouldn't.
good. No, but he is a good driver. But
Thank
then, like,
you.
yeah, but
Cheers
your
to that.
wheels. But I.
What do you do
Did
when it
start
rains?
Oh, we went out the other day, like
Oh,
last
God.
weekend, and it was raining, and Matthew was driving super slow, and I was like,
Because
I was like, you know,
'Cause I
it's
care
90
about
in
it.
here.
Yeah.
And then he's like,
Doing it on the highway,
yeah,
right?
I know. I just like my tires are really bald, so I was like, oh, all right, arrive alive,
See,
basically.
See, you care about me when we're skating. I care about you when we're driving. It
Yeah.
works out.
Well, apparently not, because you didn't fucking change your tires.
Until today, because
Oh,
I
you
see,
should.
I see.
See,
There you go.
But that was
Okay.
only out of like necessity because.
exactly.
But no, it's
That's
fine.
why
That's
No,
most
everyone
men, though.
I was
procrastinates.
pushing the limits, and the mechanics were like, "Well, at least you got your money's worth with your tires." So,
Fuck, I'll say.
yeah, I'm surprised they didn't call the
Oh
cops.
god, yeah. I
Um,
forgot about that. A mechanic had to do that. Yo, that mechanic brought every single tech over.
No,
He's
it
like,
was-
man, look at
it
this.
was one of those
These
like
tires, bro.
hole in the
What?
wall sketchy like indie
What was
like
it?
corn.
Oliver or no? Okay,
Okay, Falls.
Oh.
So
And,
were
like
you
that's
like
like a
drifting
tiny
or
town.
something?
I would have. Yes.
What do you drive?
Honda Civic 2015.
It's quite nice.
It is a Civic. That's
It
what I was
is.
gonna
It's
say.
a
Just
com-
like
it's a
slaying
computer.
ties with
Yeah.
Civics.
Okay, it's
Yeah,
a push
it's a spaceship.
Start. Yeah,
Push
Which-
start.
which she knows how much I hate technology. Which like I'm 50.
He doesn't even have.
Push the
tap.
brake and push
Okay, I have
start.
tap on my credit card, so let's give that. But I don't have tap on my debit card, which I mean it's kind of counteractive.
So I have to wait for you in line to punch in your number.
I'm that old person that well even old people have tap. But I mean, we can talk about that on another episode. But
tap episode.
yeah, the
Old people specific.
Great idea.
Tap.
yeah, the mechanic was taking the old rubber off of the rim, and he starts like spinning around, and he goes, "Ow!" And clearly, because like the wire was showing, and I just stood there. I was like, "You saw the wire. You saw the wire. I hope I don't get sued for this." I'm surprised they didn't call the cops. They look at it and they're like, "If you get pulled over,
you could be like your car could be impounded."
Oh,
yeah.
Could you get your license taken away?
I don't know. That's possible.
No, not for that.
You get fined.
You get fined.
Impounded probably.
I drove to Calgary with them like that.
No.
Yeah.
When?
What was the weather like though?
It was actually really nice. It was the trip that I left Kelowna at 2:30 in the morning, and I got there at 11 a.m. I mean, my car doesn't wobble anymore when I go over 100, so that's a perk.
My God.
I like to live life on the edge.
No, you don't like to spend money.
Yeah.
Okay, you know what? I went to a tire shop on last Saturday with like 5 minutes before they were closing. So like I made the push, and then they're like, "Yeah, we close in 5 minutes, so you can't actually buy these." I was like, the moment
Look at
I
my
tried,
tires.
yeah. Well, they didn't.
It's dangerous.
I mean, I got a oil change 2 months ago, and all the mechanics were like, "How are you driving these tires? You know you should change them." I was like, I've heard that once or twice, but thank you.
Get giant skateboard wheels for your.
They would last longer.
They would. Just urethane wheels.
That's my
no
next
traction
invention.
at all.
Just drifting.
You'd go to stop.
Maybe I want to become a drag racer. Maybe that's what I was trying to do with these tires.
Drag
Well,
racer. I thought you were gonna say
In
drag
a Civic,
queen.
probably, yeah.
I mean,
That'll segue
all they
into
can do.
motorsports later on.
Yeah.
that's true. We can talk about our
Rally team.
our rally team, the Grzly rally team.
Yeah. Anyway, though, airspace.
Air house.
Sorry.
That's
air
okay.
house.
So
Space house.
it's
A lot of people actually, I'm sorry for interrupting, but a lot of people actually do get it like confused. We're like airspace or like someone
like aerospace.
I think
like,
airspace
someone
is
like where I
like
work.
NASA.
Someone said it in
aerospace.
like the weirdest way a couple of days ago. I was like, no, it's air house. They're like, really? I'm like, no.
Okay, so Air House is an indoor training facility for freestyle athletes. So if you ski, snowboard, mountain bike, wakeboard, surf, skateboard.
Did you say snowboard?
Yeah, snowboard.
You can train snowboarding there.
Yeah, so like we have Olympic,
Nice.
they're called string bed trampolines. So they're like what you see on the Olympics.
Right.
So they're super, super bouncy. And we have tramp skis, and then a tramp snowboard and tramp skateboards and a tramp BMX bike. And you can so it started because there's this Olympic freestyle skier named Sarah Burke. So she passed away in 2012 I think it was in the States somewhere. She was training and she was doing an aerial and like hit her head really bad in the half pipe and just like was out, like rushed to the hospital, was on life support. She died a couple days later. And so one of the owners named Willie, he was really good friends with Sarah and her husband, and they had been talking like a couple of years before this, like, hey, like we need to have an indoor facility like with trampolines, like trampoline facility where freestyle athletes, where we can come and train and practice aerials in a safe environment before we take it to the snow or before you take it to water or concrete.
Exactly. It's the same idea where sparring, like you don't go all out, right, before your fight because you're going to get hurt, right?
Yeah, exactly. So after she passed away, Willie and Sarah's husband were like, fuck it, we're going to start this. Like, and so the first air house opened in 2015 in Squamish. And then later on, I don't know how many years later, they opened one in Nanaimo, and then in January of this year, we opened one in Kelowna. And so we have a couple different sections. So we've got a bunch of trampolines in the middle part, and we have like 2 quad beds, so they're like really big, like string bed trampolines.
Nice.
They're so awesome. And then we have, I think, I should know this
energy
because I have
flex
to
for
like
sports kind
yeah,
of. Right?
but it's like
For grown-ups.
It's for like we train the Big White freestyle team and the Silver Star freestyle ski team. They come to us and we train their athletes, and yeah, it's really really cool. So it's not just like like willy nilly. Yeah, it's serious training. Like
yes,
yeah.
It's not like
So
this
we
is where
have
you go.
yeah,
It's
this is
a
where you
full-on
go. It's
training
a gym.
facility.
Yeah, it's a freestyle training facility. So we have parkour, freestyle running, skateboarding, and then
How big
our
is this
trampolines.
place?
It's quite large. Like
Yeah.
we're on McCurdy. We're 2 blocks up from
Energy
Grand
Plus.
10.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sweet.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
you guys are pretty central then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's nice because it was funny. I was like looking for a job and had applied up at Silver Star to be like a digital content specialist, like basically creating a ton of like videos and photos for like advertising, and had an interview, and like after the interview I was like, I don't know if I actually want this job. Like I'm gonna have to live in Vernon or like live up at Silver Star for the foreseeable future, and it's just gonna be like jumping into like the same stuff that I was doing at Black Press, but like with way more creative control, which I wanted. But I was like, I don't know if I want this. Like,
Wait for me.
so yeah, and I just met Matthew at the time, and I was like, I don't know if I actually want this, and then ended up I didn't get the job, which was great. but
Wait for me.
Tabs out.
but I was but then I had another job lined up. It was like a painting job for an awesome local company, like painting like condos and stuff like that. And so I was like, and the pay would have been great, and the hours would have been okay, like Monday to Friday, like labor job. But I was like, damn, like I don't want to take that job because I know I'm going to be so tired every single day, and I won't have time to focus on Kelowna Skateboard Association and really grow that. And so I was like, okay, God, like whatever, like if I don't know, I was just kind of dragging my feet with like calling the person to like be like, oh, I actually do want this job for the painting thing. And then I ran into a friend at the Kelowna Farmers Market, and we were talking about KSA, and I was like, oh yeah, like would you be interested in being an instructor for our like upcoming like beginner skate clinic? And he was like, yeah, that sounds sweet. And then he was like, you know who you should talk to are the guys at Air House. They're like so like keen on expanding their skateboard stuff, like you should go in there. I was like, okay, cool. And I had like heard about it and seen it on Instagram, their mini ramp, people riding it, and be like, where the fuck is this? Like it looks so awesome. And so that Saturday I like was on my way home. I was like, oh, just stop in and like show your face and like introduce yourself and like touch base with the people there. It's like, okay. So I did that, and then I met the assistant manager named Craig, and he's this like awesome guy. He's Scottish and like is so cool, like really funny. And so he just like gave me a tour of the place, and then he was like, actually, do you want to like skate the mini? And I was like, yeah, that'd be great. Like I have my skateboard in the back of my trunk, like I'll go get it. And so he let me skate the mini for free. And then he was like, actually, he's like, do you mind like if I like film you, and like we were trying to like promote this camp that we're doing for girls and da da da. I was like, yeah, no worries. And then so that was cool. And then at the end of it, he was like, are you looking for a job, or like do you have a job? And I was like, actually no, I don't right now. And he's like, we're always like, we're looking for a skateboard coach, like we need one, like especially a girl skateboard coach. And I was like, yeah, I'm super interested. And so the next day I like sent him my resume and like a little cover letter, and yeah, like a couple weeks later I got hired, and I kind of like run like the skateboard section. There's another skateboard coach and he's really awesome. He's really good at like the mini, but he does like crazy like things, and we're like, whoa, like I don't even know what to call that.
Really advanced stuff that.
Yeah, he's like
a
super
beginner
like.
wouldn't be able to like.
Yeah.
A beginner would only dream of, but it's
so like doing Christ airs and shit.
Yeah, basically, he like does like crazy stuff, and we're all
Well,
like,
like,
huge. Like, what the heck was that? Like,
50-50 the coping to boneless to gapping a 3 foot gap, and it's like eventually.
I need 50-50 to boneless.
It's
like
all.
you have to step on the rail.
Yeah, no,
like,
yeah.
Oh,
that's
exactly.
crazy.
yeah,
Like,
he's like, yeah, it's sweet.
You can get very technical with skateboarding. Like, I mean,
Oh,
there's Rodney Mullen, who was
the god of
god. Yeah, like he was able to do anything on majority of stuff on flat ground. So like it's possible to do a lot more than most people perceive skateboarding has to be. But
It's what I like about the sport is that it's super creative,
yeah,
and like you can just like make stuff up as
Yeah.
you go, and it's like a lot of other freestyle sports where it's like you pick a line and you do certain tricks, but a lot of times, like I had a friend who rode bowl really, really well. He's a great transition skater, and I'd like skate with him, and then I'd be like, dude, like what was that? What did you just do? Like what was that called? And he was like, I have no idea. Like I just made it
I was
up.
just mashing.
I was just
Yeah.
like going for it. I was like, that was awesome, like sick
Smashing
ass.
the controller.
And yeah, anyways, long story short, so I started working at Air House like a month ago now, and love it. Like it's kind of like the like 12, 11-year-old like child in me is like, this is great. Like it's like a dream
This is
job.
a
Like
candy store.
Yeah.
yeah, it's so cool because it's kind of, it merges like my exercise physiology like degree with basically with like with my passion for skateboarding,
Right,
and then
yeah.
also like there's the opportunity to like help with marketing and like videoing people and photography and videography stuff, and it's cool. Like Craig, the guy who hired me, was like he's just so positive and just like he's so excited about Kelowna Skateboard Association, and really like he basically like just like wants to partner. Like he was like, we just like his idea was to be like basically kind of take over KSA, like kind of like have like Air House as the mother company, and then have like KSA as like a subset or whatever.
Parent.
Yeah.
Well, not a
The
parent,
foundation
but a child.
company.
Yeah, and like
A
really
subgenre
of Air House, or like just, but it was so, yeah, it was just serendipitous that it's like that whole job at Silver Star didn't work out, and I was kind of like not feeling it and really didn't want to do that, like get back into that kind of line of work, and it just feels right, and it feels so good to be in a place and a work environment that like their mission statement is to coach and be coached in a positive and safe environment, and it's like it's something that's like I don't have to change who I am to like fit into this company. It's like my morals and my ethics and the way that I live my life align with how they operate.
Mm-hmm.
And so it just kind of feels like, yeah, it's just the right fit at the right time. So it's really awesome.
That's really cool. That's perfect, because I wanted to ask you a little bit about how you got that job. Exactly.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it's interesting how those things happen. You know, you kind of held out a little bit longer.
Mm-hmm.
You
Yeah,
know,
because
you
I was
just-
like, I know I don't want to do this painting job. I
Yeah.
know I'm going to be so tired every single day, and essentially it's going to suck, and I'm only going to last like, I know they lay off people like in the winter or like when things get slow.
Yeah, for sure.
So-
majority of construction
Yeah.
jobs do that.
Sounds like a possible like the first mission to skate for. It's like don't want this job, you get hired at like a park. It's
Yeah.
like, film something. I just imagine
Yeah.
like do this line, get X amount of points for
Yeah.
this.
Well, that's what
You got the job, all right.
Yeah.
You could say it was the butterfly effect.
No.
So let's I want to know like how you got into skateboarding. When did you start skateboarding? Obviously you said that your brother skateboarded, and you know he was doing all the tricks and stuff around you, and that was interesting. But how old were you when it all started happening?
I was like 6 years old when I
wow.
started. Yeah. So I'm a street skater, and then have like learned, like have like become transition skateboarding. So like riding bowl and ramps and stuff like that.
More park oriented than street.
More what?
Park oriented.
Park oriented.
I heard
Yeah.
parkour too.
I heard parkour.
Yeah.
I was like park.
I was
like,
talking
skateboarding.
How do you do parkour on skateboard?
Wow.
I
And then we
wanna
just
learn
acid drop off this building.
Wow, there is
Matthew sent me a video and I was like, the two sports should not be mixed. They need to be separate.
And
it was
that
like a dude
was-
doing parkour or free running and skateboarding,
Free
and I was like, this looks stupid.
That was
Wow.
the first
It could be
conflict I had.
dangerous.
Yeah, they
Skateboarding's
were.
already like kind of dangerous. But
Yeah, they were doing
parkour
like
over there.
front
Now you're
flips.
doing
off,
backflips and shit.
Yeah, right.
They were doing like
Now you're trying to
front flips off of
gap
5
buildings?
stairs. Like they were
Instead of ollie it, you
Yeah.
like
Just jumping down on your
skateboarding, then
board.
front flip
Yeah,
down
caveman.
a 5-step, and then like skateboard onto.
I mean, it's like super talented and the person's
Yeah.
like super athletic and
But there's
it's
just
really
some
hard.
things
But
you
I just
can't
like
mix. You should
Yeah.
mix.
I don't know. I think that I'm too much of a purist or like classic person to like really like the
Which makes
hybrid
sense.
of the two sports. But
Mhm.
Yeah,
I mean, I can't do that, so good on them for doing it.
exactly.
So you're
But
6
yeah, I
years
was
old.
6 years old.
Wow. You just
Mhm.
kept on skating.
I just loved it. I don't
That's
know what I loved about it. I just think it was something that was like physical, and I was good at it right away. And I did like a few competitions when I was like, I can't remember how old I was when I did my first competition, but it was at
I think you mentioned you were 12.
12, yeah,
Yeah,
probably
12.
10 or 12.
Who were like some of your inspirations? Whose
Mm.
like style do you like?
Yeah.
Is there anybody's style who you like admire? You try to maybe
When I
mimic
was
or-
young, there was this like she's classic. Vanessa Torres is like
Okay,
amazing
I've
like
heard of her.
skater,
Heard of her.
yeah. And then Lacey Baker obviously is like just destroys on like everything she does.
Mhm.
And then Elisa Steamer like basically like paved the way for a lot of like women in skateboarding.
I think you,
But
I think
yeah.
you can play as her in Skate 1.
Oh, nice.
yeah,
Yeah, because skating seems to be a fairly male-dominated sport.
it is.
Even
yeah.
still, I've
Yeah.
seen
Still,
women
it
compete
is.
at X Games and
Yeah.
stuff like that, but
It's getting better
it's-
though.
Yeah,
Like I've definitely like this past season have seen a lot of like women out, which is great. Like not just girls, but like women, which is so awesome.
Skateboarding's cool too
yeah.
because it's like you don't. It's not really about who's stronger. It's about
Yeah.
who's controlling the board better.
Yeah,
You know.
and I don't care if you can like ollie down like a 12 set or 16 set. Like if you can do a really like stylish kickflip or ollie, like do like a simple trick really steezily. Like I think that's
Yeah.
I don't know. I want to watch that, or I want to see that more than I want to see like some person like do a major like gap or like
Yeah.
something crazy like massive. I'd rather you have like style to your riding and like can I don't know. I'm more about like style and finesse than I am like going big or go
Full
home.
set
Like
at Super Park. Just,
yeah, it's like I don't. Give a
Watch, I
fuck.
can do a backflip. It's like,
Yeah.
alright, cool.
into a foam pit.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
it seems like
That's
skateboarding
what
is
I'd be
like it's almost really like martial arts, except you're not, you're not going against somebody else. You walk in, like you show up to the skate park every
Mhm.
night. You see the usuals who are there,
Yeah.
the regulars. Everybody's there to get better, but then there's people
Yeah.
there who are better, who are there to help you, give you
Yeah,
tips and
yeah,
pointers
totally.
and
And-
stuff like that. And everybody likes
Yeah.
to see somebody do like a super dope trick.
Oh, definitely,
Yeah.
yeah. And especially like when there's someone at the park or like you're at a street spot and like they've been like trying it for hours on end, and it's like you just kind of like gather around that person and like you watch them do it, and then like you're like, you got this, next try, you got this, and it's like it's this instant community or this instant
We'll
yeah,
start
it's
cheering.
just like
It's like, whoa, there's a crowd of people there. Like, you
Yeah.
have no idea.
yeah,
Oh wow, we're about there.
cool.
All
Why are you
right.
closer to me? She's your girlfriend.
Distance.
I need my personal
There is
space.
breathing
Because
room.
You guys give me so much space.
Yeah,
I just
you
have
give
some-
You have a
yourself
lot of
less
room to move
space.
around there.
Yeah.
You move open
We need a
that
bigger
very well.
couch. We need more chairs.
How about let's all? I'll
Yeah.
jump in there.
Yeah, just squish in like Friends.
Like the Friends intro.
Like the Friends that's not
I
on
should
Netflix
like do
anymore.
oh, is it not?
No, yeah, they lost it to HBO.
So HBO on demand or whatever.
Did it
was
take
that?
it off?
HBO something.
I'm
I don't
pretty
remember
sure
what
It's
it
going
is.
on. I forget which network it's going on. But
Isn't it
something
still
I want to say
on?
NBC.
I thought it was still on Netflix.
Or no,
Well,
NBC,
didn't
NBC was The Office.
like no? Didn't NBC produce it from the beginning? Like they're the network that like got it like from. The
I'm pretty
beginning.
sure, yeah. So then if they are, then it
Pull
would
it
be
up,
the
man.
NBC streaming
pulling it
service that's
up.
going on.
Okay, no, it's still on Netflix.
No, The
But they're
Office
pulling
is
it.
ending. They're
In
pulling The Office off
2021.
of Netflix.
Yeah.
Oh no, The Office.
Pulling The Office and Friends, so they're going to lose dudes and chicks.
You want some of
Once.
this?
You guys should do a face mask, like all three of you on the couch, like how they did on Friends, where they're I don't
Like-
know, Rachel or,
like
or
Rachel and
somebody
Connor.
was like,
Our own masks.
Yeah,
You and Josh have your crazy cool masks and
Yeah.
you're going to put on.
and then
kabuki masks or something.
Yeah.
and then we can have our own like Grzly official masks.
Ooh,
Oh, you never mind.
that's thinking right there.
Yeah.
On the spot thinking, which doesn't really help half the time, but it's
Well, thanks for having me on.
Yeah, no
Wow,
problem.
yeah.
Do you have any websites, social media you want
Yeah,
to plug?
you can follow Kelowna Skateboard on Instagram, and we have a Twitter. It's probably Kelowna Skateboard. I don't know it.
Is
And-
link it up?
Our website is it's linked on our Instagram account. We're very active on Instagram. So
So that's
go
where you
follow
post
us
the majority
there.
of your content. Like that's where
Yeah.
you document the local skate
The
scene and
local
stuff.
scene and just
Awesome.
it's skateboardkelowna.wixsite.com/vvvv. I'm gonna buy a domain name, so that's coming soon.
Yeah, I can help you if you want.
Yeah.
With
Get some
that.
web
We
optimization
can talk
going
about
on.
that after.
Yeah,
Oh,
that'd be
boy.
great. But yeah, what do? We post. Oh, there's this thing called Skate Spot Sunday, where I like pick a spot in Kelowna, and then I'll give like everyone 48 hours to film a clip there with their best trick, and then they'll submit it. If you tag hashtag Skate Spot Sunday and tag Kelowna Skateboard, then I'll see it and pick the winner. And we have cool prizes. Like this week's prize is a No Name, which is a local skate company. It's a really nice toque. It's navy
Awesome.
blue. It's really cool. Anyway,
Sweet.
so that's the prize this week. But yeah, follow us there.
Perfect.
Mm-hmm.
I like it.
Nice.
Matt,
the
your
usual,
medias,
the 1,000 accounts that I have.
1,000 accounts.
Just
Main ones. Main one.
the usual Alien Mat, and then in my description has all the titles and links to all my accounts.
Perfect.
The usual.
K-Town Yamaha on IG and Twitter. If you
Oh,
use the
Twitter.
Twitter.
I use Twitter.
Use
I
the
don't
I
Twitter.
started using Twitter. It's hard. It's like starting a new
Congrats.
habit.
You don't need Twitter. You do.
It's like-
You miss
I
out
feel
on a
like
lot of
it's
people
like-
because
yeah.
some people only use Twitter.
It depends.
Well, yeah. I mean, my whole thing is don't use Twitter if you're not gonna use it.
Right.
Like, don't have a
That makes
Twitter if
sense.
you're not gonna be active.
That's
Yeah.
Can't you get something that just posts to all your accounts anyways? You don't have to.
No,
don't
you
wanna
just
do
link
that.
all your accounts.
Yeah,
You don't
Yeah.
want to do that.
it's easy.
You
Man.
No.
wanna post dynamic.
Because
content.
when you
I guess so.
Christian, what's your stuff?
Yeah.
What do you want to plug? Where can we find you?
Yeah.
Thank you. Go follow Christian RJS, and most importantly, go follow Grzly.co, GRZLY.co on Instagram. Website's GRZLY.co. Subscribe, like, share, all that fun stuff.
Don't forget to hit the bell notification to be notified
The
when we
bell.
upload every Saturday or every other Saturday, depending on how Adobe likes to run with me, depending on how much my computer loves me.
Depending on if
Your
you can make
crack
these other ones
copy
out.
of Adobe wants to run.
Honestly, having a crack copy of Adobe probably would work better than paying $80
Yeah,
a
it's
month.
expensive.
It really is. They
Anna,
up their prices.
Thank you for coming on.
Thank you for having me, guys.
No
It's been
problem.
Yee.
Done.
Ba-dum-ts.
Perfect.
Yippee-ki-yay.
Sorry to cut you off
Cue
there, but
outro.
we're already like a minute.